We bring you the latest edition of MBC News with me, Kumbukani Piri, alongside our sign language interpreter tonight, Savita Wirima. Our top stories. State corporations challenged to align their work with government priorities to enhance public service delivery. Government says the Democratic Progressive Party is not responsible for the sale of the Amaryllis Hotel, saying the process began in 2023 during the Malawi Congress Party administration. And in sports, Football Association of Malawi and National Bank of Malawi held the impact of the inaugural NBM Under-23 National Championship for unearthing talent. Well, I'm glad you could join us. Our top story tonight, state corporations have been challenged to align their work with government priorities to enhance public service delivery. Deputy Chief Secretary to the government, Stuart Ligomeka, who's also controller of statutory corporations, said this in Mangochi during the official opening of a corporate governance orientation workshop for board chairpersons, board members and CEOs of parastatals. Owen Mavula has a report.
Board chairpersons, board members and chief executive officers for state corporations have gathered in Mangochi for a two-day corporate governance orientation workshop, a platform aimed to strengthen capacity on the role of the boards in fostering performance to improve corporate governance. Speaking during the official opening of the corporate governance orientation, Deputy Chief Secretary to the government, Stuart Ligomeka, called on all state corporations and state-owned enterprises to maintain high-level standard of integrity and patriotism by guarding public resources and ensure they are used for public good.
Board members are a policy body for the parastatal sectors. They are there to give policy direction in terms of which way the parastatal is supposed to go. They have a fiduciary function. As they perform their duties, they have to see to it that the resources of the board are put to the proper use, and also that they are in control of all the things that are a cause of spillage in the parastatal bodies.
And in his remarks, Chairperson for Malawi School of Government, Professor Lewis Dzimbiri, said the training is important as it equips participants with leadership and management skills needed to execute their duties professionally.
We know that the people who are appointed may not know the role of leadership, the role of management, and then these CEOs, as well as the board chairs and members, need in a way to have a comprehensive understanding about their various roles. What's the role of the chair? What's the role of the board in relation to providing oversight of the statutory corporations?
The corporate governance orientation workshop is being held under the theme Strengthening Economic Recovery and Effective Performance through Enhanced Corporate Governance in Statutory Corporations. Owen Mavula, MBC, Mangochi.
Minister of Agriculture, Irrigation and Water Development, Rosa Mbilizi, says the 2024-2025 National Census of Agriculture, NACA report, released by the National Statistical Office, NSO, will play a critical role in guiding government efforts to boost productivity in the agricultural sector. Mbilizi made the remarks in Lilongwe during the official launch of the report. The minister disclosed that the government will place emphasis on irrigation development, which the report highlights as one of the areas still lagging behind despite its potential. Details in this report by Chinsisi Moyo.
Speaking during the launch, Mbilizi said the census is not just a statistical exercise, but a commitment to strengthening food security, enhancing productivity, and uplifting the livelihoods of Malawians. She further said the government will work towards improving irrigation farming to ensure the availability of food throughout the year.
What is standing out is the fact that irrigation still remains a remote kind of operation in the agriculture sector. It's now at 2.2%, whereas crop production is at 97.9%. So that's a heads up for me and my ministry and the government as a whole, that we need to do more in the irrigation sector, because as you are aware, we can no longer rely on rain-fed agriculture only.
Commissioner for the National Statistical Office of Malawi, Shelton Kanyanda, said the census also underscored the importance of moving away from heavy reliance on maize and promoting crops such as Irish and sweet potatoes, which have higher yields.
There are some crops that are more productive compared to others. So one of the crops that we have noted is that Irish and sweet potatoes are more productive on a piece of land compared to maize. So maybe if we are to try to have efficiency in terms of production, we could think that they should encourage farmers to engage into Irish production and also a sweet potato production.
The World Bank country manager for Malawi, Firas Rad, commended the government for conducting the census, saying it demonstrates a commitment to evidence-based decision-making.
We're hoping through our various interventions that we can support all stakeholders in the effort to make sure that yields go up, productivity goes up, and we once and for all tackle this question of food insecurity in Malawi.
The NSO conducted the census nationwide, targeting small-scale farmers, and reached 29,648 farming households. The agriculture census report has been released after nearly 20 years, with a previous census conducted in 2006. Jinsisi Moyo, MBC News, Lilongwe.
Minister of Energy and Mining, Jean Matanga, has appealed to people of goodwill and organizations to help hunger-stricken households in Chirazulu-Midima constituency. Matanga made the appeal during the distribution of relief food to 1,500 households by a Muslim charity organization, Faizan Global Relief Foundation. Chisomo Break reports.
Matanga said nearly 40% of households in her constituency are food insecure. She said the situation is expected to be severe because farmers are expected to harvest little due to a dry spell that hit the area.
To any other foundation or any well-wisher that would wish to come in and assist us, this constituency is ready and willing to welcome you. There are a lot of people that are still in need of food. Yes, government has come in and some organizations have come in, but there are still some pockets that are yet to be reached out.
Speaking after distributing the food items, Faizani Global Relief Foundation Director of Communications, Ibrahim Omar, said so far the organization has reached out to several districts that are affected by hunger.
The food packs today they have received is around 1,500 people who have received the food packs, and as we are approaching today, from the starting of Ramadan up to today, at least over 21,000 families have received food packs through FGRF.
During the event, FGRF also rolled out an empowerment-focused support for vulnerable residents, which saw the organization distributing medical equipment to the elderly and persons with disabilities.
Minister of Information, Communications and Technology, Shadrack Namalomba, has called on the public to desist from blaming the Democratic Progressive Party, DPP government, for the sale of the Amaryllis Hotel, saying the process began in 2023 during the Malawi Congress Party MCP administration. Namalomba made the remarks following a presentation by MCP spokesperson on finance, economic affairs and decentralization, Peter Dimba, during his contribution to the national budget debates in Parliament. According to Namalomba, the Minister of Finance has no direct role in managing pension funds, noting that the Public Service Pension Trust Fund, PTF, operates as an independent institution, adding that the Minister of Finance is therefore not responsible for the payments involved in the sale of the Amaryllis Hotel.
This is what Malawians should know, that the origin, the architect of this Amaryllis Gate is the government of Chakwera, is the government of my Congress Party. This deal originated from the office of the Secretary to SPC, the Chief Secretary then, Madam Koliniza. when the trustees had discontinued the purchase of this hotel, she directed that they proceed. And she recruited, and this is clear, she recruited the other officers in the name of Mr. Gizaso, and Mr. Gizaso went on to become the chairperson of the board. And then, even after the government of Chakwera was gone, they proceeded with it. Now, to allege that it is the DPP government that is responsible for this irregular sale or purchase, it is not right. And also, I rose in the House to state that the Ministry of Finance, because there was an allegation that, and this allegation, misinformation came from the Chief Whip of Malawi Congress Party, to the extent that the Minister of Finance cannot be trusted, which is wrong, because the Minister of Finance in the management of pension funds it doesn't have a role under the Public Finance Management Act, even under the Pensions Act.
Meanwhile, the Parliamentary Committee on Public Accounts has disclosed that all political parties have pledged to support the ongoing public inquiry into the sale of the Amaryllis Hotel. Chairperson of the committee, Stephen Malondera, said this following reports that some committee members have been receiving threats from unknown individuals after unearthing alleged fraudulent activities linked to the hotel's sale. Malondera said the political parties have also pledged to not to interfere with the work of the committee or the ongoing inquiry. Malondera explains.
Basically, all the political parties, they've also resolved to allow the inquiry to proceed uninterrupted. In that case, we haven't received any contrary feelings or interjections from political party leaderships. So I would like to assure Malawians and assure all key stakeholders that this far your committee has remained focused and will remain focused amidst all the threats.
You're watching ABC News, a reminder of our top stories. State corporations challenged to align their work with government priorities to enhance public service delivery. Government says the Democratic Progressive Party is not responsible for the sale of the Amaryllis Hotel, saying the process began in 2023 during the Malawi Congress Party administration. And in sports, Football Association of Malawi and National Bank of Malawi held the impact of the inaugural NBM Under-23 National Championship for unearthing talents. We continue with NBC News now. The National Oil Company of Malawi, NOCMA, has refuted reports circulating on social media claiming that it has awarded a fuel contract to Zenith Satar. In a statement, NOCMA clarified that it currently does not have any running fuel supply contract with Satar, describing the circulating information as misleading. The company further emphasized its commitment to executing its mandate of securing reliable and sustainable petroleum supplies in the country while upholding the highest standards of transparency, accountability and strict adherence to the law. Parliament on Monday resumed deliberations in Lilongwe after 2 weeks of suspension, with debate on the proposed 11 trillion kwacha 2026-2027 national budget taking priority. Speaker of the National Assembly, Samir Suleiman, announced that members of Parliament will spend 5 days making their contributions to the budget, which was presented in the House on the 27th of February 2026 by Minister of Finance Joseph Mwanamveka. Smart Chalika has the report.
Suleiman said members of parliament will spend 5 days making their contributions to the budget, saying this will allow members of the August House to scrutinize the budget and provide their views before it is passed. He further indicated that parliament is expected to pass the 2026-2027 national budget before the start of the new financial year.
Debate the budget motion for 5 days. May I appeal to the MCP Finance Chairperson of the Budget Committee and all cluster committee chairpersons to be ready with their responses to ensure that they should be delivered within the set time frame. The timely responses will allow this August House to debate and pass the budget before the end of this financial year.
The first to contribute to the budget debate was the Malawi Congress Party spokesperson on finance, Peter Dimba. In his presentation, Dimba supported the 2026-2027 national budget, but emphasized that its success will, among others, depend on implementation reforms aimed at ensuring food security and tackling corruption, among others.
At the end of my response to the budget, I put up some, recommendations, because as opposition, we don't just have to criticize, but we also have to offer alternatives. And so we talked about the issue of reforms in agriculture to make sure that we have food security. For example, the issue of AIP, it does not make sense.
Members of Parliament are expected to spend 5 days making their contributions to the budget before it is passed. Smart Chaliga, MBC, Parliament, Lilongwe.
The ambassador-designate of Israel to Malawi, Gideon Behar, has assured Malawians living in Israel of their safety and security amidst the ongoing tensions between Israel and Iran. Speaking to journalists through a Zoom briefing on Monday afternoon, Behar said Malawians working in Israel are as safe as any citizen of that country and have access to all essential services, as well as secure accommodation. He also said Israel's economy has not been heavily affected by the conflict and expressed confidence that the impact of the war on the country's economy will remain minimal. Behar further stated that Israel will continue supporting Malawi through various development projects, noting that the two countries maintain strong bilateral relations.
I want to assure you that they are as safe as every other Israeli citizen right now in Israel. There is no difference between Israeli citizens and any other nationality residing, working, living in Israel. They have full access to shelters, they have full access to applications that alert you before there is an attack. They know all the drills, where to run, what to do, where is the nearest shelters. The shelters are open for them. We are together in that. Everyone in Israel, every citizen and a foreigner are brothers and sisters in Israel today.
The Malawi Electoral Commission MEC says all is set for the by-elections to be held tomorrow, the 17th of March, in some wards and constituencies across the country. The Commission is scheduled to administer parliamentary by-elections in 4 constituencies, namely Rumpi Central, Nkotokota Liwalazi, Dedza Mtakataka and Blantyre West. Additionally, the Commission will administer local government by-election in 9 wards, namely Igembe Ward in Karonga, Songwe, Luwinga Ward in Mzuzu City North, Litembwe Ward in Doangala, Msitu Ward in Chinchi South, Chilobwe Ward in Lilongwe, Mikongo Ward in Mangochi North East, Chanda Ward in Zomba Chikomwe, Chirunga Ward in Zomba City North, and Monekera Ward in Cholo Goliati. This is the first local government and parliamentary by-election to be held since Malawians voted during the general election on the 16th of September last year. Meanwhile, in Mangochi, the Commission has urged electoral stakeholders involved in the electoral process for local government by-elections to fully participate for smooth and credible elections. District Elections Clerk for Mangochi, Roderick Kazembe, said this in an interview with NBC during a training of polling staff in preparation for the by-election tomorrow. Kazembe said there's need for all stakeholders, including political party and independent candidates, to place their monitors at the polling centres on time, saying this is crucial for electoral process. Francis Banda spoke to Kazembe.
So far, we haven't experienced any challenge regarding the training of the polling staff. We have visited so many centres and so many polling stations. We have found people training the polling staff. These are the presiding officers. In fact, these party representatives and the independent candidates representatives, we have been moving with them since the launch of this by-election, and they know each and every process of the election, and each and every step have been briefing them. And indeed, yesterday we also hinted that today they must avail themselves to appreciate the training that are being conducted. Now that they have decided not to come, that's not a big issue. Actually, the law says that if these particular monitors or party representatives, they can be there if they wish to, and that is better. But if they are challenged with some other issues, it has happened that they have absented themselves, the Electoral Commission will proceed with the processes.
In business news, the Reserve Bank of Malawi has launched this year's Global Money Week with a call to Malawians to learn to save, earn and invest. The launch took place at Zingwangwa Secondary School in Blantyre on Monday. More in this report by Justin Mkweo.
The Global Money Week is an annual awareness campaign aimed at promoting financial literacy. During the week, financial institutions such as the Reserve Bank, commercial banks, the Malawi Stock Exchange and insurance companies engage in a nationwide campaign on sharing financial knowledge towards achieving literacy and inclusion. Speaking during the launch, RBM Deputy Governor Kisu Simwaka said the messages will target young people so that they earn important financial knowledge. He indicated that aside from the week, the Reserve Bank is working with stakeholders on sustainability of the messages.
This Global Money Week is important because it gives an opportunity for us as financial institutions to educate our young ones so that they can learn on issues of financial services, how they can access financial services, how they can learn to save, to invest, and therefore build their future. So it's important that we need to teach them while they're still young, so that as they grow, we should know that we have a nation of people who are financially literate.
The launch was attended by different players in the financial sector. Bankers Association of Malawi BAM Chief Executive Officer Linus Nkungula said the week helps them to advance awareness on their products and services.
This is very important to us because for Malawi to go forward, for our economy to grow, then we need to have a financial literate nation. Everybody should know what is it about money. But not only knowing about money, if you have money, how do you juggle around with the money that you have?
This year's Global Money Week is being held under the theme Smart Money Talks. Justin Mkweo, MBC News, Blantyre.
Finally, in sports, Football Association of Malawi and National Bank of Malawi have both held the impact of the inaugural NBM Under-23 National Championship for unearthing talent and bridging the gap between junior and elite leagues. The two parties made the remarks in Blantyre on Monday during the draw for the championship's national finals, which will be held this weekend in Mponela Doha. Norbert Jameson reports.
The draw threw up some fascinating ties among the four regional representatives. Southern Region champions QPO Stars have been drawn against Central Region champions Mponela FC, while Northern Region champions Karonga United Reserves will face Eastern Region champions Kababa Academy. Reacting to the draw, sponsors National Bank through their head of marketing and corporate affairs, Akosa Hiwa, said the competition has achieved its objectives.
Looking at the impact we wanted to create, we wanted to help develop sports and also provide that transition phase where we've got under 20 and we've got under 23 and then we've got the adult teams. We noted that there was a gap in between the under 20 and the adult teams. So with this under 23 championship, it has helped bring in the transition or bridge the gap, this gap that is existing, so that we have cultivated and nurtured recruited very strong, very talented players that are now ready to move on to the adult teams and the adult leagues.
Football Association of Malawi Club Licensing and Compliance Manager Clement Kafafwa underscored the importance of the competition.
It has been a very successful tournament. We have really seen the talents from the youth level. Now we are towards the end of the tournament where we will discover more talent which will add up, beef up the talent which we have in Malawi. You know, we already have the under 20, under 23, also even the senior team. Some of the players will be taken to the under 23 teams where we will be participating in the COSAFA, and it will be a platform for us to graduate those guys to the national team.
The NBM Championship National Finals will be played at Champion Stadium, with the semi-finals scheduled for Friday, 20 March, while the final will take place on Sunday, 22 March. The champions will walk away with 10 million kwacha, while runners-up will receive 4 million kwacha. The third-place team will pocket 2 million kwacha. National Bank has invested 500 million kwacha into the competition, which involved over 500 teams from district, regional and national level. Norbert Jameson, MBC Sport.
Well, that item wraps up this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. State corporations challenged to align their work with government priorities to enhance public service delivery. Government says the Democratic Progressive Party is not responsible for the sale of the Amaryllis Hotel, saying the process began in 2023 during the Malawi Congress Party administration. And in sports, Football Association of Malawi and National Bank of Malawi held the impact of the inaugural NBM Under-23 National Championship for unearthing talent. For the latest news, follow our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You've been with me, Kumbukani Piri, alongside Savita Wirima, our sign language interpreter tonight. Thanks for watching and goodbye.
Good evening, and it's time for weather forecast. Very heavy rains were experienced over some parts of the country in a period of 24 hours and were recorded and reported this morning at 8, with Lifidzi in Salima reporting the highest at 119 millimeters, 112 over Chipoka in Salima, and 107 over Saiti 2 in Zomba. We are currently still expecting heavy rains to persist in some areas, especially along the lakeshore and some parts over the south. Hence, we are still advising the general public to stay alert. This is all due to the influence of a low pressure system which is still oscillating over the country, influencing cloudy conditions as well as scattered thunderstorms and rains which are heavy in some areas. This is why tonight we should also expect scattered thunderstorms and rains to persist over the country, accompanied by windy conditions in some areas as well as fog patches. Similar conditions are also expected tomorrow in the morning hours, with localized heavy rains still expected in some areas over the south, the central, as well as some parts along the lakeshore. Temperatures are also expected to remain mild tomorrow in the morning hours over most areas in the south, the central, as well as the northern part of the country, but we should expect warm conditions over a few areas such as Ngabu and Nsanje at 24 degrees Celsius. Looking into the afternoon hours of tomorrow, we should expect cloudy conditions to persist over the country, accompanied by scattered thunderstorms and rains over the south, which will be heavy in some areas. Isolated thunderstorms and rains are, however, expected over the central as well as some parts along the lakeshore. Temperatures will also remain mild tomorrow in the afternoon hours over most areas in the central as well as the northern part of the country, but we should expect hot conditions over a few areas in the south, such as Ngabu and Nsanje at 28 degrees Celsius. Looking into Wednesday, we should expect scattered thunderstorms and rains, which will be heavy, especially over the south and some parts over the central, to persist over the country. I'm Tamvani. Be wise, be weatherwise.